Hey there, YouTube. WhiskeyCactus here, welcoming you back to our Let's Play of the Letter. This is episode number 17, and in the last episode, we started Marianne's arc, and found out that she's fucking awesome. So that's really cool. Basically, we didn't do a whole lot. We almost slept with Luke, but we decided not to, so, good for us. And we ran into Rebecca at the library, who shares a love of history, and we became quick friends. So that's cool. Now we are at the office, because this is the day that the Wrights signed the papers to get the mansion. So, we are now at the mansion. Walk that back. We are now at the office. When I do go up to BRC's office, I can't help but stop and stare when I enter the building. With the lunch hour closing, employees should have been back already. If they still aren't, filtering through the doors... Oh, shit, wait. Hold on. It is... Oh, it's the 22nd. Alright, never mind. I was gonna say, for a minute I thought it was... Okay, that's the 24th. The 24th is when she ran into the ghost at the office. Well, I was gonna say, maybe, are we gonna run into the ghost at the office? But no, that wouldn't make sense. Okay, they're still filtering through the doors. I get that it's Saturday, that people feel tired and lazy to be working on a weekend. They're still on the clock and not bumming about wasting company time on extended lunch breaks and cigarette sessions. The office is spacious, as it is with these big corporations. Each person is given their little space of what's usually a 2x2 meter cubicle. There's a lot more empty chairs than there are actual people working at their desks. Reminds me far too much of my last day at Portskova projects during the massive layoffs due to the Irish economic crisis. This isn't just that, though. Everything is as quiet as a grave. It's because there's people missing, right? It's as if these people are merely ghosts. Don't say that, please. Hello. Speaking of ghosts, Santos comes in through the door looking as if she's just seen one. Because she did just see one. This was right after she saw the ghost in the shop window, I believe. She looks at me wide-eyed like a deer caught in the headlights, ready to bolt at any moment. I'd ask her, out of concern, but I feel it's not my position to do so. What if it's something personal? I'd simply be overstepping my boundaries. Really, it's none of my business.
I presume that Miss Cooper told you why I'm here, Miss Santos?
Huh? Oh, yeah. Sorry, I just got back from lunch, you know? But it won't take too long. Don't worry.
Of course it won't. This whole project has established itself to be a matter done in haste.
Indeed it has.
I do hope it doesn't mean that people are being careless in their duties.
Yeah, we kind of rubbed Marianne the wrong way, so I don't think we have a very good relationship with Isabella. Yeah, we're kind of not great. But that's alright. We could fix it. Maybe. She flinches and looks like she doesn't quite know how to respond to that. Thankfully, instead of opening her mouth, she leads the way towards her station and goes to fetch the floor plans. Won't take too long, as she said, but it does take a bit. Time spent to compose herself, most likely.
You know, we usually just email these things.
I prefer the real thing.
Not that you would know. You probably have your nose stuck in front of a smartphone when you're not working, and even when you should be working, playing those mindless, addictive games. Definitely wish Chris would stop playing that Bat-Cat thingy. Bat-Cat thingy during work hours, too. Well, Isabella has a Bat-Cat plushie thing on her bed or something.
I know what you mean. Digital painting is nice, but nothing beats the smell of real paint. Not that I go and smell paint like a crazy person, but, you know, the real thing is different.
Wait, what?
Yes, nothing is quite like the real thing.
Checking out the floor plans. I see that I'll have a lot going for me. Now I know how Ray felt when he found the Central Park West building floor plans from that one movie. Alright, so if we look at this real quick, I'm wondering if it's important to know this. I'm wondering if we're gonna, if it's gonna help to know this information at any point. We have the porch, we have the foyer, the dining hall, the parlor, and the restrooms. The music room, the gallery. Where's the kitchen? It's over there, and then the wine cellar, okay. We got the ballroom back here in the garden. Hall basement, hall quarters. And up here we have the bedrooms and stuff with theater. Alright. And we have the attics. Fantastic. That's why I became an architect in the first place. Jacobean style at its finest. It's a thing of beauty. Look at these gorgeous rooms, the delicate harmony between empty spaces. Speaking of empty spaces, there's something rather odd about these ones.
I feel a bit silly saying it out loud because I've never lived in a big house, let alone a mansion. But during the tour, I had the distinct impression that the rooms were bigger.
Is this the House of Leaves?
Maybe the scale is wrong? It's not much of a problem. And it is an old house.
There had been little details here and there that I would have liked to address during the open house, too. It was all forgotten in the wake of Miss Santos' incident and the trouble with ownership. The wine cellar is going to be a problem. Oh, yeah, you damn right that wine cellar is going to be a problem. Shudder to think of what sort of repairs they did to the place. Might have been things that were swept under the rug, you don't say. Pushed to the dark corner of the rooms, hidden away in barrels. Water damage could have been covered up. Yeah, I don't think water damage is what the problem is. There had been floods due to the heavy rains in West England just last year, after all, and if there's any sort of damage to the house's foundation, that's going to be a lot of work. I was not able to look at the attic as well. Good. For all I know, whole family of vermin could have made their nests there. Working with pest control is always the worst. Yeah, I wish it was fucking vermin. Sheer size of this place is staggering, and even if I did just say it was a lot smaller than I thought. I might just be biting off more than I can chew, but who doesn't like a good challenge? First things first, I'll have to.
So, do you want a coffee? The one from the staff room is pretty decent.
There's really no need. I'm sure you have rules against it.
Rules against bringing someone coffee? That's ridiculous. And even if there were regulations against it, nobody's really here to tell Sir John. I've already brought 2 mugs, and I'm not going to drink them on my own. Come on.
I have to stamp down my annoyance at being distracted. Seeing the girl, the young woman, though, it looks like she has a lot on her mind. If babbling is her way of dealing with stray thoughts, I'm not really the one she should be babbling to. You have something to say. Let's do the visual novel thing and save. I think we can save over Zachary at this point here. You have something to say? I give her time to speak up. I assume that, yeah, that buffed our relationship with Isabella a little bit. Give her time to speak up. But when she just stares, I clear my throat.
Yes? You have something to say?
As embarrassment creeps up on her face, I snatch one of the coffees from her and take a sip. Too hot.
Just thinking and speaking off the record, it must be fun what you do. You go to people's houses and you make them, well, pretty. You're sharing your art with them.
It's a little bit more complex than that. But if you put it that way, it is fun. I wouldn't have done it for 7 years if it wasn't a little bit fun, I guess.
These big clients always have paintings in their homes. Do you have a supplier for art pieces?
Let's not forget that Isabella is an art person. Was she an art student? Or... Yeah, she, fine arts undergraduate, that's right. Pursued a degree in fine arts, yep. Didn't expect to hear such a question from her, seeing as how well she handled herself yesterday. Didn't doubt, then, why she was assigned to an important sale like the Ermengarde Mansion despite the little accident she had. Now she just looks too young, nervous, and unsure of herself, although her enthusiasm must make up for that in spades. In fact, I wouldn't have believed it if she had introduced herself the way she is at the moment. While watching her now, she actually looks like she should still be in college. Acts a bit like it, too, when I think about it. Thought she was a teen slumming it out in the mansion when I first saw her there, lying on the ground. Surprise, surprise, she turned out to be one of the estate agents handling the property. I don't even know what to make of that whole meltdown that happened with that strange document. If I were the client, I would have been very upset. She'd be in hot water for it.
The clients usually support artists of their own choice. If they don't, I'm always happy to refer those that I know.
That's cool.
They're very picky. I don't think a hobbyist will have an easy time getting their work sold.
Hey, I'll have you know I was a student of the fine arts.
And yet, here you are, selling property. Maybe you weren't a very fine student of the arts.
Excuse you. Maybe I took that a bit too far. She bites her cheek, and it looks like she's barely holding herself back.
It's not like I had a choice.
She mutters it under her breath. I barely even hear it. But the hurt is there, and it makes one wonder what brought it on. Although it is understandable if her reason's what I think it is. Very few people make it big in the art world. I can see why she'd be upset about it with that enthusiasm. Didn't have a choice when I left Ireland. It was that, or years of unemployment. The recession and the toll it took in the construction industry was out of anyone's control. I don't know what choice she wasn't able to make, whether it was about her being at art school or something else. The world isn't a fair place, and the sooner she accepts it, the better. We've got like 4 story updates in the past 1 minute. Still, with that forlorn look on her face, I can't help but sigh. The girl reminds me far too much of myself when I was younger.
Well, if you're thinking of commissioning your paintings, I'll have to see your work first.
Oh, it's not... I didn't mean it like that. I don't have any paintings.
Really? You sounded a lot like you still did art or want to. Now I'm starting to worry that you might just like the smell of paint.
Well, hey.
I'm not a paint huffer, sheesh. I just mean I don't make much anymore. I don't really have the time for it. The tools and materials aren't exactly cheap either.
Everything has a price. It sounds like you're making excuses for something you're presumably passionate about. If you really want to practice art, a little out of your wallet isn't much.
Well, in general, I would agree with you, but her situation is very delicate, so maybe...
It's not that simple.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not? Life's simple. People just like to make it complex. Speaking off the record, I have some advice for you, kid.
We got Grow Up Kid achievement unlocked.
Either go for what you want, or stop thinking about it when you have something else.
That sounds more like a you thing than an Isabella thing, Marianne.
That is unless you enjoy making yourself miserable. Then by all means.
You know, if you wanted to look at the floor plans without me bothering you, you could have just said so.
Would you have left me alone?
We'll never know now, will we?
Well, what do we have here? We have... Here it is. Marianne visited BRC to pick up the floor plans. She was assisted by Isabella Santos, and the two shared a brief talk about art, which ended with Marianne leaving a piece of advice to Isabella. Alright. Strained air settles in the room afterwards. Doesn't help that she doesn't immediately leave, as she has said, lingering awkwardly by the door with that downcast expression. It's clear there's more she means to say, perhaps even to defend herself and her choices in life. Or is she expecting me to dish out more of that advice? It's an awkward affair, and I choose to hightail it out of the realty office as quickly as I can. Alright, it's nighttime. You know what that means. That means we have to get ready for QuickTime events. Because you never fucking know when shit's gonna go down. Though I am able to keep myself professional at all times does not mean I like it. And seeing that most of the day has already gone by before I realized it, I choose to head back to my flat instead. Excuse me. Despite today being a Saturday. No fun, but at least this way I can definitely avoid another unpleasant encounter. Considering how much I'll be seeing whiskey in the near foreseeable future, I have a feeling I'll need all the rest the weekend can give me. For the first time in a long while, excited as I am to work on the mansion, I cannot wait to be over and done with this project. It's Monday, and it's morning, so I guess we don't have a whole lot of stuff to worry about at the moment. Now, Monday the 24th is when shit happened with Isabella at the office. But that is the only thing that we know about Monday the 24th. The 25th was part of Zachary's stuff. There wasn't really much going on the 25th other than that awesome brunch. And the 23rd, the day we skipped over, was... Oh, we ran into Isabella. Marianne and Isabella ran into each other at the park. And we asked about the cat, and that was not the right answer, for whatever reason. Okay. And that's when Rose died. Okay, so Rose is dead. Alright. I don't know if we know about that or not. Probably not. Monday couldn't come any sooner. After taking the floor plans from Miss Santos the day before last, I spent most of my Sunday drawing up plans and calling in my suppliers. Although no design choices have been made yet, I'm quite sure that they'd want high-end appliances, the most expensive materials, and the most pretentious everything. Sounds about right. They usually did, these rich types, based from experience at least. Given how badly this whole thing started, it wouldn't hurt to be prepared. I have to check myself, make sure I'm not playing with my gloves, as one of the other building tenants takes the elevator up with me. It makes me self-conscious when the woman's eyes go over me, and I'm sure she was going to point out some perceived flaw in my physical appearance. But I'm saved from being paranoid when they went off a few floors later. Still, the ride up to my floor is nerve-wracking. The Wrights lived at the very top, the penthouse, the creme de la creme when it comes to condominium and urban living. Just getting access to the place is an ordeal of its own. I had to jump so many hoops So many security checks just to secure a keycard, not only because of building management, but because of the Wright's personal security. It sometimes felt like I'm being interrogated for a crime, and not visiting a client at their home. Even when their personal assistant called in to help out and verify my presence, the process is aggravated rather than hastened. Speaking of the devil. Hello there, Johans. How are you this fine morning? The elevator door opens and I am greeted by none other than Whiskey's not-so-little lackey.
I do apologize if I kept Mr. and Mrs. Wright waiting, but I'm here now and I'm ready, so if I may, where are they?
They've just
sorry.
woken up, but they should be down soon.
Sorry about that.
I'm surprised to see you made it through security, and only 5 minutes late.
So I'm curious. Was this... When did they... Excuse me. When did they have their fight? Was that this? No. Wright couple moved into their newly bought mansion today. Oh, that must have been like back here. Yeah, I don't remember. Oh yeah, here we go. Friday, 21st. Okay. So that's all happened already.
You said I'd be through security soon, and it took half an hour. Define soon in this context.
I'd make myself comfortable if I were you. I'm going to go and put the kettle on.
About the tea, I don't want to intrude or anything.
The sir does not like being woken up by the whistling. But who am I to deny tea to a guest?
Johans is such a fucking troll. I love it. Oh my god. He shows me to the couch before drifting off towards the kitchen, quietly pulling out a teapot, cups and all sorts of other things in preparation for the tea. I ignore the animosity towards his employer that his words implied. I wouldn't be too surprised if Whiskey's own people don't like him. Accepting the quiet and isolation indeed, I brace myself for what's to come. In this case, soon apparently means more than 5 minutes or even 10. I sit in their living room, just waiting. And when the kettle starts whistling and the tea has been served, I continue to wait. At least the silence is relaxing. But then there's a crash. I nearly spill tea all over my lap in surprise, and I look up expecting security to come running. Even the man at the kitchen counter continues to fix breakfast like he's heard nothing. I don't want to speak up about it because he looks far too absorbed in his cooking, and I don't want to be the cause of burnt food, or worse. However, there's something in me that just wants to figure out what that was, although I am normally not this nosy. What should I do? I kind of feel like... Alright, I'm gonna save, because I have an idea of what this might be. I'm actually gonna hop over to page 2 and start fresh with these saves. So we'll go down here. I have a feeling I know what that might be. Actually, I don't know, because I think it might be a different day. So we just saved. I'm gonna go check it out, and then if I don't like where this direction is going, I'm gonna go back and undo it. Because, you know what? Fuck it. Story updated. Alright, hold on. First things first. I want to see if continue waiting does anything to my relationships with any of these characters. It does not. Okay. So I do then want to go, and I'm going to do check it out. Does not affect relationship. Either choice does not affect relationship points, so we're gonna go check it out. Crash came from the hallway, and I really shouldn't be snooping about. But it's just concern, yeah. Concern that urges me to check it out. Sneaking a glance at the butler, I consider sneaking off, but...
Excuse me, but where's the loo?
Barely looks my way before pointing a spatula towards the hallway. It's a good excuse as any. If I'm caught lingering longer than I should, I could just excuse myself and say that I wasn't sure which door led to where. I think we're gonna keep waiting. You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna continue waiting. Oh, man. Alright, I'm not in the mood for spooks right now, I'm not gonna lie. I have no business with it. These rich people usually value their privacy above all else, after all. Unless, of course, they're posting pictures on social media, bragging about what good people they are for allowing themselves to be interviewed for some magazine. And again, the whole reason I'm in this mess is because I don't give two shits about what goes on with people like them. I'm not going to get caught snooping about and be accused of some imagined wrongdoing. I mean, this is the better answer anyway, because it's none of my fucking business. So... not going to be some busybody, detective wannabe, and run off to investigate whatever that was. It's probably just something mundane anyway, like a lamp falling over. Maybe. Or maybe we just prevented ourselves from dying. I'm just going to sit here and wait for Mrs. Wright. With my tea. In complete silence.
Could I at least put the telly on?
So here's what I'm gonna do, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and save that. And then maybe at the end of this episode we'll go back and see what would have happened. I think this is the route I want to go on, but we'll go back and see what happens in that scene. I don't really expect him to answer. If he hadn't heard the crash, I doubt he would have heard the...
As long as you don't watch some silly soap opera, the LBC News would be fine. The William Walker Show is on too, if you prefer that. Not that I watch it, but my husband does. The remote is under the coffee table.
Oh, sure. Maybe I'll be lucky and catch the doc on. I heard they're having reruns of the classics, and I want to see the second meet sixth in Spain. If not, just the news then.
She's a Whovian.
Thank you. I'll let you get on with your cooking now.
Did he just ignore the crash a while ago then? Whatever. Fetching the remote, I turned the TV on in hopes of filling the silence. Let me guess, the news and Rose Cooper dead. Let me guess. Is that it? Is that gonna be it? Trying to, anyway, because the thing won't turn on. Doesn't that make the silence more awkward or what? I know I might not be the best with tech, but I'm sure I can work a simple television remote.
The batteries must be dead.
So I'm gonna go ahead and guess it doesn't matter which option I pick. Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's not Hannah, that's somebody else. That's not the ghost either. I don't think it's Hannah. It looks kind of skeletal. There's blood everywhere. Help me, it says in red. I look at my own hands and find them clean, yet I can see my grisly reflection gaping back at me. And though there is nothing staining my skin, I can feel the sticky and warm feeling of blood dripping down my cheeks. I should be worried. Instead, I feel my attention drawn towards her. Her beautiful blonde hair, soft lips with skin so fair and swaying hips. I want nothing more than to hold her, plant my lips on her neck, and run my fingers through her hair. She laughs and she smiles when she looks at me, but where are her eyes? Temptation is gone in an instant, and I recoil, horrified at this reflection I am seeing, only to back into something, or rather someone, let me guess, Hannah. Well, that was a thing that happened. Okay. Very well. Mrs. Wright stands there, twirling a lock of her blonde hair, a soft smile on her lips, and a hand on her hip. I almost back away, but I ground and remind myself that this is my client. And whatever I just saw, well, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to say that perhaps I am going a bit daft. It would be preferable, of course, to think that it was all a trick of the light, or the makings of an overactive imagination.
Good morning, Mrs. Wright. I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Have you been standing there long?
No, I just came down and saw you were having a hard time with the telly. We must have forgotten to change the batteries.
Music's still very creepy.
Are you alright, dear? You're looking a bit pale.
I don't feel safe right now.
Haven't you had breakfast yet?
No, I'm fine. I had breakfast already, Mrs. Wright. I just need...
Well then, you mustn't have had enough breakfast. I'm all for a good diet, but that's the most important meal of the day.
Yo, free food, gimme gimme.
Yohan's is cooking up pancakes. Pancakes will make anyone feel better, he always says. We can sit down and tuck in.
I would be happy to as soon as this music starts being a little cheerier.
You'll feel right as rain once we get some fluffy, syrupy goodness in you.
What the fuck just interrupted her?
And are you sure you're fine,
Okay.
Marianne? You're shaking.
Looking down at my hands, I can see them trembling. Really, just because she looks so much like her, I'm becoming a damn train wreck. I've been seeing her in my dreams and hearing her voice ever since I met Mrs. Wright at the mansion. So many blondes in the world, what was different with her? Oh man, more decisions. God damn, it's almost like this is a visual novel or something. I'm not feeling too well? I don't know if I like that. Hold on. Yes, I am save scumming. I don't care. I don't care. Alright, so... I think that did bring our relationship down. So what do I do if I say I just remembered something?
I just remembered something, that's all. It's nothing to worry about.
I think that was the correct answer. That was the correct answer. Okay, I like that better. Because I do want to beef up my relationship with Hannah. I just remember... Yeah, okay.
Are you sure? I am all ears if there is something bothering you. I don't mind a good story, and I don't want it to affect your work performance.
Gossipy wagon, isn't she? She should just leave you alone. It's not like you need her.
Interesting.
You don't have to worry about that, Mrs. Wright. I say business stays business, and anything else can stay in the doghouse until I'm done with work.
Just have to bear through it, don't I? If I tell her that I'm hearing voices, that'd be a fast track straight to the nut house. What else can I do? Saint Dimphna, help me lest I become like her father Damon, insane at the thoughts of a lost love and mad in pursuit of another.
Shall we talk about your work then?
This music needs to get cheery, please.
If you'd like. It's on your time, after all.
I've been told many good things about you, and I've seen some of your work before. Others speak very highly of your work etiquette. Yet I've never heard of you before. Not even a whisper of the McCullough name.
Well, I've only been in Luxbourne for 4 years. Tried to make it big in London for nearly 3 years before. And I've only been working these high-quality projects for the past year.
Stick straight to the point. It's best to be brief when talking to clients, after all. Keep it clean, cut as much as possible. Yet at the same time, I have to make it engaging so it doesn't look like I don't want to talk to them.
I imagine it hasn't been easy. I can't see why you've moved from London to Luxbourne, though.
Job vacancies were fewer at the time, and I had a lot of competition in London. Let's not even talk about the living costs there. But I'm glad I moved here, even if it hadn't been smooth sailing. If I had it easy, I probably wouldn't be working projects like these.
Why even bother explaining to her? She won't understand. She's practically born with a silver spoon in her mouth.
Okay.
The woman could probably snap her fingers and have servants attending to her beck and call.
Indeed, she probably could. She does look the part of a spoiled heiress, doesn't she? It would be a relief if she's just that. Something that's different from Miss Wright and her. Before she can get another word in, words that may have proven me wrong or right, she looks up at the loft with a fond expression on her face. With just a simple glance, she can put in so much love that I feel a tad bit jealous of whoever holds it.
Good morning, Luke, darling.
Good morning, ladies. What a wonderful morning it is, that I wake up to such a beautiful sight.
Oh, you again. My favorite. So we have this. We have Marianne visited the Wrights' penthouse to discuss work with the couple. While waiting for them, as she tried to turn the telly on, she got a glimpse of her horrifying past. Ooh. Okay. Hannah Wright soon showed up, asking a very spooked Marianne if she was feeling well. So, interesting. Hopefully we'll find out more about what happened with Marianne's past. I assume we will. It seems rather, you know, makes sense to think we would.
I do hope you two are getting along. I smell pancakes. I do hope you two are considering a diet just so I can have them all to myself.
Fuck you.
Don't be a pig, Luke. You eat all of those and you might stop fitting into your tight suits.
What? I'm not a pig. You don't think I'm a pig, do you, Marianne?
Yes, I do. With his saucy smile and playful wink, I can't help but think you are a bit of a pig, Whiskey.
I don't know, Mr. Wright. I'm an interior designer, not a zoologist.
The only stars she must be familiar with are statement of works.
Nailed it. That's a business joke. Ha-ha. Although we don't call them sows, we call them SOWs. That's alright.
Well, don't be a bore. You two might not be in a rush, but I'm going to go ahead and feast.
He said boar. He said boar, like pig. Ah, the puns.
If you dawdle too long, he'll hog all the syrup.
No, she said hog. She said hog. The pig puns, they don't stop. Rich people are so eccentric.
Come on then, we can discuss business over food.
Oh, thank God we have normal music again. Alright. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna save here. And real quick, I do want to see what would have happened if we went the other direction. That was here, right? We have the choice. Check it out. So just real quick. So we go, yeah. We go over here. Alright, so still looking into the hallway reveals nothing. I don't see anything that might have caused the crash. The hallway, like the rest of the place, is in pristine condition. There are several doors for not only the toilet, but also presumably rooms for their butler and other members of the staff. So stand there, however, something feels definitely out of place. One of the doors nearest within my reach stands ajar, and from inside a light flickers incessantly. Could simply be a light bulb that needs replacing, but the thought of it in a place so well taken care of seems odd. Off. I think that maybe this is where the crash came from. Inside, I spy a radio lying on the floor. That's probably it, right? Maybe one of the help, in a hurry to get out of the room, knocked it over in the process. If that's all it is, I should really leave it alone. As I turn to leave... Sound of static fills the air, and a man's tinny voice interrupts the silence.
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th-year dead.
Why am I still standing here?
Assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
Seems familiar, doesn't it?
Authorities are investigating the possibility of foul play.
Like I've heard it before.
Reporting from St. Samphins, Shane McLaughlin of Galway Bay, AM.
Okay! So Marianne visited the Wright's penthouse to discuss work with the couple. While waiting for them, Marianne decided to investigate a violent crash. She heard in the hallway there was something odd. Process, I trip backward, blah blah blah. Instead, I feel a hand on my back, and guess who?
Oh, don't tell me you're reporting to work drunk, Mint.
Interesting. So, I think we did make the right choice. I am going to jump out of this, because we will probably have an option to get points with Luke, but not Hannah. So I'm glad that we did the other option, because that gave us the points with Hannah, which is what I've been going for with Marianne. Alright, so there is no denying the clients when they invite me over to the table. Though it is too personal to share a meal in their home. Let's just make sure, yeah, everything looks about good. It would be terribly rude to deny their invitation. This game makes me hungry. Besides, the pancakes did look and smell heavenly. They look absolutely fantastic, I am not gonna lie. A bowl of clotted cream, fruits, syrups, jams, and other spreads are laid out next to them, making for a colorful arrangement. If this was a brunch with friends, I would have gladly helped myself to the whole lot. But as it is, I accepted just a few pieces of pancakes and topped it off with lemon and sugar.
You know, I was a tiny bit serious when I said I wanted a helipad.
Fuck you.
And you're not serious about the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables?
Well, I do want those too, but I know you'll agree to those.
We're talking about interiors here, honey. You don't handle exterior designs and whatever handles those sorts of projects do you, Marianne?
I'm able, actually, and willing to take a project of that nature. I was an architect in Ireland before. Of course, that's another contract entirely.
Indeed, another SOW, if you will.
I also suggest we finish the house itself before working on any additions to the rest of the property. There won't be any problems about ownership this time, will there? Pardon if I'm crossing a line, but the acquisition was rather quick.
Oh, don't you worry. We've got everything sorted this time around. I've talked to Miss Cooper and Mr. John from BRC, oh, as well as the old owners.
Well, Miss Cooper is dead now, so...
Everything has been paid in full, and all we're waiting for is the paperwork from the land registry. They're letting us move in as soon as we please.
It's good to hear.
It's not like they were living there in the first place.
That's good to hear. The problems that could arise from renovating another person's home would be... well, let's not dwell on it.
Maybe that's what the ghost is pissed about. She just doesn't want us to renovate.
First off, We'll want to know how you want the place to look. It's pretty furnished as is, but I understand if you want to modernize the whole thing.
Actually, I'd prefer to keep the place looking as it is, but at the same time, I want modern appliances.
Interesting.
You worked on the Ludgate's Christchurch summer residence. I do remember there being an oven I thought was a simple drawer before. Make them look vintage, antique, blend in with the rest of the decor.
Customize appliances then. I can't find someone for that, and if you can't tell me what you specifically want, it'll hasten up the process.
Sounds efficient, Marianne.
We're talking about electronic appliance manufacturers. If you have a preferred brand to work with.
Splendid! So, what is next on our agenda? All the other interior designers we've hired in the past do not have us this involved.
I stop. What sort of half-baked designer did that? If I knew who they were, I would have words. This isn't the time or place for it, however. Instead, I use this brief pause to pull out the floor plans I brought with me, and ask why they're so weird.
We'll have to figure out what you want to do with the rooms. Here, we can have a quick run-through.
What is that little room next to the master's bedroom?
Let's see, what is that? Quarters? Is that the quarters or the balcony? I assume it's the quarters.
Oh, as far as I could tell when I saw it, it's a second bedroom of sorts.
Interesting. So there's a bedroom inside the bedroom.
Used, apparently, for the ladies-in-waiting who has served Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. Which is strange, as that isn't the norm for these sorts of houses.
Interesting.
Well, we're not stuffing Yohan's in there. He won't fit.
Oh, Johans.
You don't suppose we could turn it into a walk-in closet and a dressing room?
I love fashion, but do we really need to turn an entire room into a walk-in closet, dear? We'll have large closets and a wardrobe in the bedroom already.
Says the one who takes 3/5 of our closet. Well, what do you suggest we do with it?
I thought a utility room of some sort would be nice. A craft room where I can do fun things.
Or a room where we could put a crib, right?
Or maybe a children's room might be nice. You know, for when Kylie comes over. Or if Rochelle visits once she's had a baby.
Oh! Did we know that before? Did she say the name Kylie before? I think she did, actually. I think she may have said that before, and I just wasn't paying enough attention. That's the creepy kid. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. That's the creepy kid that Zachary ran into. Oh god, as if the ghost wasn't bad enough. Alright. To be fair, we haven't seen her be creepy since then, so maybe I'm just wrong and that was just a one-time thing. But this is a horror story, and there's a creepy singing child. So, forgive me for being horrendously suspicious.
1, you are not inviting that witch. And 2, there's a whole mansion for Kylie to play in.
Interesting that you say that about Rochelle, Mr. Baby Daddy. I mean, totally not Mr. Baby Daddy.
We don't need a children's room, and you don't even do arts and crafts.
How about you go fuck yourself?
I'd like to turn the guest's room and the study into my personal office, by the way, if you don't mind.
You can turn it into a personal office if I can have my utility room. It's just the one room of the many. I'm taking that room for myself, no matter what you say, dearie. So you might as well take this deal. You're always out doing business anyway. The real problem is the theater. Whatever are we going to do with all that space?
The theater? You're not just gonna have a theater in your house?
Fine, we can turn it into our own personal cinema, I suppose. Might as well have it, if you plan on not having a telly in the parlor.
Yes, well, I don't want guests to be glued to the telly when they come over for a meal and some tea.
Well, there you go.
By the looks of things, we can keep the rooms as what they are on the ground floor, though. The ballroom would be perfect for parties.
Indeed.
Do we really need a dining hall, though? I don't suppose we can't convert it into a garage.
I mean... Okay.
What for? You can park your cars outside.
Like, how does that make any amount of sense? What, you gonna have the kitchen, and then have to go all the way through the gallery. The kitchen doesn't even connect to the gallery. Like, what the fuck?
What about that room? Right there. In the northeast corner.
Northeast or northwest? You got a basement or you got another quarters room?
That's sleeping quarters for the household help?
So northwest.
Oh, that is perfect! Johans will be glad if we have other staff members who stayed in. It'd be convenient so they don't have to make the trip from Luxspawn to the mansion when they're needed.
You'll definitely need a lot more people to maintain a property of this size.
The mansion is really a lot bigger than I thought. Look at all these rooms. I didn't even know there was a music room next to the parlor because of what happened.
Because of what happened.
There was a grand piano in there too, when we checked during the tour.
Did you hear that, Luke? Maybe you can take up playing the piano again.
Interesting.
Oh, you should have seen him when we were younger, Marianne.
It's not like I was very good with the thing.
Oh, hush you. You were no Mozart, but I loved hearing you play nonetheless.
So is this like some weird warp timeline where they didn't fight? I guess they're just... Maybe she's being, like, showy about it. But whatever.
He'd come over to my home and he'd play such fun tunes. He'd sing too and I'd dance and it was just...
Mr. Wright playing the piano? I can't imagine it. But the earnest way in which Mr. Wright said so told otherwise.
Anyway, what do you think of these plans, Marianne?
Are we not even going to consider one of my requests? Not even just a closet or just a garage?
Fuck no.
Now, that isn't fair, is it? You're not the only one who's going to be living here.
Incorrect. No, that's not true. Because Hannah was the one who left. Well, allegedly. We don't know if she actually left, because as she was huffing and puffing about leaving, she got attacked by the ghost and Luke kind of saved her, so we don't know how that ended.
I hardly see how that's unfair. I told you you were getting your office and your theater, the greenhouse, the vineyard, and the stables. That sounds fair, does it not, Marianne?
It does sound fair. I'm gonna save again, but I think saying it sounds fair would make sense because I'm actually just gonna overwrite. Well, let's overwrite this. I'm gonna say, hold on. Hannah, we're about there-ish. So if I say it sounds fair, perfect. Mission accomplished. And we dropped some of Luke, and that's good. I'm happy with doing that, too. Sounds fair. I agree with you, Hannah. Mrs. Wright has her points, though I really didn't want to butt into the spat of a husband and wife. But with the way the two were looking at me to settle this, I might as well just keep to the facts instead of giving an opinion.
Mr. Wright, your plan isn't quite feasible from an architectural perspective. I'm not even sure how much we can do without closer inspection. Well, the one about the garage, at least. A walk-in closet is easy enough, but the garage?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
See, a garage isn't architecturally feasible, and it isn't going to be financially sound as well. We're already going to spend a lot on your other requests. You have several acres of land to park on already.
What? Did you calculate that on the fly? Financially sound my foot. You're probably just thinking up of imaginary numbers.
That's not true. We know Hannah is very good at math.
Might I remind you that I was a financial manager?
Indeed.
I also looked over and approved the expenses of our other houses. I know the rough cost of these things by now, love. Masters in business administration, major in accounting. Sometimes I think you forget that I'm not as dumb as I act.
Fucking calling him out. Props to you, Hannah. It catches my attention more than anything. It sounds more unbelievable than Whiskey playing the piano. She really didn't seem like the type.
Business administration and accounting? What university?
Luxspawn U, of course. Go Lux Dragons. Red and gold.
Go Lux Dragons, absolutely.
Excuse me, how about we move on this chit-chat ahead and do whatever else needs to be done sometime today? I had to cancel my appointments for this, you know.
Fuck you and your appointments, Luke.
We might as well do a proper inspection with the designer this time, just to get it out of the way.
Yes, no time like the present. You want a thorough inspection? Might as well do it now. We actually took another look at the property yesterday, though it was brief. But I'm sure you would want to see it yourself, to spot anything we might have missed.
Probably. Would be a good idea. It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Alright. So we have an update in the journal. Let's take a look at it. Yes, past this part. Mansion's arrangements were discussed over breakfast. During the meeting, the Wright couple had an argument about the mansion's arrangement. In the end, they decided a visit will settle it. Indeed, and a visit will probably settle it, but I think this is a pretty good spot to go ahead and end the episode. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please be sure to leave a like down below, and a comment down below. What do you think of the series so far? All the same usual stuff. Also, I'm trying to think when this goes up in comparison to some of the other stuff. Yeah, so I would have talked about this already in my Tales of Exilia Let's Play, but what do you think about some of the proposed things I mentioned in that video about with the channel, and potentially bringing some other things that aren't necessarily series, or just kind of, you know, increasing the variety? Potentially, you know, not doing 2 episodes of a game per week, and maybe doing like 4 different games, but 1 episode per week. I'm not sure how much of that I'm gonna have to cut out. But yeah, any of the changes to the channel that I proposed in the Exilia video, about potentially having, you know, maybe 4 series, not necessarily a series, but 4 different games, 1 episode per week. Instead of doing, you know, 2 Exilia, 2 of the letter, you know, maybe doing 1 of each and then 2 other things. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do, but let me know down below what you think, what some of your suggestions are, and if I don't get any comments, which will probably be the case, but if I don't, then I will have to make decisions on my own, and you guys are going to have to live with it. So, if you want to have a say in it, or you want to suggest something, make sure you let me know. Also, make sure you're subscribed for more content, more of the letter, more Tales of Exilia, and anything else that happens to wind up on this channel. So thank you guys so much. Next time, we are going to continue on with Marianne. We're probably going to go stake out the mansion, and I'm sure some fucking ghosty shit is going to happen there. So I will see you then. Thank you guys for watching. Goodbye.